Now let's make a function to extract digits from any string. As you know, we have a function named val, message box, for example, val 12ab34. And this function will return 12 because it's only searching from left until your values are numeral, and immediately if looking for non-numeral will stop searching and skip rest of a string. So I want to actually make a function to extract all digits to be my result 1, 2, 3, 4 in this case. So let's make a function. I say function extract digits. Of course, we have argument. So I say str input as string, and we have returning a value. So as I want to use long to make sure not get exceeding the limitation. So as a long. All right. So by now, if I give this function name here, we will send this string as str input. And for extracting and returning, of course, we have set this equal to any value gonna be. I just say t to be temporarily there. Okay. So how we could extract? First of all, I want to get the length of my string. Then one by one start searching. So I say them, let's say int len as integer, and I say int len equal to use length function and any string we used here. So after sending this string inside of there, I define an integer data type variable int len and get the length of that here. Just as an example, let's say here to show the result. For example, in this case, our length is 6. Let's say ABC now should be 7. That's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we need a loop for start searching from 1 to end until reach the end, which the end of my length it is here. So I defined them I as integer, okay, and I say for I from 1 to end len, and next. So from 1 until reach the end of a string, which we get already used at length function. But before that, if you want to make more performance instead of going inside of your loop, first of all, make sure your string it is not empty. How can I understand? Of course, if my length it is 0, so my string it is empty. So I say if int len it is larger than 0, even I could say not equal to, then use this loop. Allow me to close that, end if, and do something. If it is not empty, which means it is the length larger than 0, then make this loop. So I'm gonna compare one by one. I define another string, them strt1 as a string for temp1, and here I want to keep the each character we're searching. So here I say strt1 equal to what? You know, we have a mid function, which string, of course, the argument. Start from where? From the I. First time it is 1, next time it is 2, and 3 until reach the end. So from I, and how many characters? We need 1 character at each time. So from 1 to length of this string, start from I, first time it is 1, and extract 1 and set it inside of that. Okay? Now we could check the values. How can I extract the value? If you remember, we have a val function. However, I could use val function directly, but we have a problem. Val function, if it is not numeral, gonna return 0. But we need actually keep or preserve zeros actually too. So if I use val function here, if it is not numeral, also if it is 0, that's gonna return 0. So we don't want that. So this is not the correct place to use here. And now I use another condition. If strt1, okay, equals 0, then if it is the 0, mean it is the exactly same character, actually 0 digit. Allow me to make endif here. Keep it inside of one string, which I want to define another one, strt2. I will say why we're using t as a string, and I forgot to use comma here, okay. This is actually not necessarily to be string, but because might be calculation get wrong, which I will mention, I prefer to use a string to be solid code. So if it is 0, actually put it inside of that. strt2 equal the previous value and the current one or 0 doesn't matter, both are same. First time doesn't matter, but after that we'll preserve this section, previous values, and add the next new value. Actually, sorry, to 1, okay. Keep the previous values and add this current value, which it is 0 and doesn't matter. Else, so if it is not 0, we have to check if it is what. And in this case, I need to extract it again or compare it. Else, if it is not the 0, extract the val function. Again, use exactly same code here, but use the val function. And because val function gonna return 0 and store it inside of that, I use another condition, and this time it should not be 0. Else, I'm gonna use another if strt1 larger than 0 this time. Don't worry, I will explain it. Now, store the value. And endif. As you know, I could make it in a single line of code. Okay, something like that, because it is inline code. And I think that's correct. And now I have to store it inside of that. Again, copy and preserve the values. No, actually, I've written the code here. Sorry, we have there. Okay. And finally, we're gonna return this value, strt2, as the returning value. But because we're returning as a long, I could use val function. And doesn't matter about digits because everything starts from 0, something like 001, it is equal to 1, of course. But still I could use as a string to return. Let's try it, is it working or not? Something wrong here, type mismatch. Why is type mismatch? Because this is a string and we are comparing with 0. So here I'm gonna use 0 as a character string. Okay, 1 0 2 3 4 should be correct. Let's try AB3. It should extract 3. That's correct. 300 should be extract. Okay. A5, something like that. Maybe 50 should be extract 50 300. That's correct. And by very beginning, if I said something like 10, it will return 1. And you know the digits 0 1 it is same to 1. And still, if you want to preserve this, instead of using val and long, I could actually use the str string here and not using the val here. And by this method, I could even preserve that 0. I know getting a bit complex, but let's try one by one and re-understand that. So I said send a message box using this function. This function, it is here. Actually, the whole block is there. We send this value as a string inside of that str input, and we're returning now as a string. However, I could use long if you want to pure digit. These are variables, you know that. I use int len to get the length of my string to understand how many characters we have. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And I say if int len it is larger than 0, which means if it is not your string empty, then use this function. However, that was optional, but it is very great for optimization and performance. If it is 0, so it is illogical to use this for loops, conditions, and processing. So if it is not empty, start from 1 and use this function strt1 equal mid. This string, it is here. Extract starting from which it is for first time 1, so start from 1. How many you want to compare, or better to say extract 1, correct? And now I'm saying if str1 it is 0, which in this case it is, directly store it inside of strt2, because if I don't use that, my zeros and non-numeral characters by mistake both gonna return 0 and won't be extracted all. Else, which means it is not 0, extract the value of same. For example, if it is G, extract this one as a value. And because this is not 0 digit and not numeral, gonna return 0. And here we don't need 0. If it is larger than 0, which in this case it is 0, won't do. But if it is something like 6 it is larger than 0, store it inside of str2. Store the current one, this is current one, inside of the previous values. And going to the next time, of course it is here, loop, this is gonna run once. Now I gonna be 2. So extract from this, which it is here, I is 2, so start from 2, grab 1, and compare it again and again, and extract the values. And of course, even if you're using other characters, space, non-standards, it's still gonna work for you. I know getting long may be confusing, but if you analyze step by step, block by block, and break it, you will understand. Still, if you're facing issues, you have problems, you have questions, I'm always available to assist you. You could contact me via email or from Udemy platform.